Beyond the Gates spoilers, brace yourselves for the tension-laden currents about to sweep through this coastal town, where hidden loyalties and unspoken desires simmer beneath the placid surface. On Thursday, June 19th, the air crackled with portent threads of fate brushing against one another in the hushed corners of hotel rooms, yacht clubs, and makeshift shelters. In the early hours of dawn, a distant fog curled around the marina's pilings, as if nature itself conspired to cloak the secrets each resident carried. By midday, the sun would burn away that mist, exposing raw truths and igniting a chain reaction that none of them could foresee. The story begins with Catherine "Cat" Richardson pacing the narrow hallway outside room 312 of the Pacific Crest Hotel. Every footfall echoed against the patterned carpet, a staccato heartbeat in sync with her own thundering pulse. The door remained ajar, and inside, on the plush white bed, sleeps Tomas "Tom" Navarre, handsome, guarded, unknowingly bombarded by expectations heavier than the helmet he once donned on the baseball diamond. For weeks, Kat had built up this moment in her mind, the first real test of whether Tom could be more than just a friend, whether the static electricity between them would ignite into something more passionate than playful banter. Only one question tugged at her. Were those expectations purely romantic, rooted in the warmth of companionship, or did they extend to more intimate realms? As the morning sun spilled through drawn curtains, painting Tom's features in soft gold, Kat's mind reeled back to their last encounter. Tom had passed what she jokingly dubbed the loyalty test, with flying colors. When Eva Thomas, the local art gallery owner, had confessed that her feelings for him transcended friendship, he'd laid a gentle but firm boundary: only friendship. Such clarity was rare, but also disheartening for Kat, who secretly cherished hopes of being more than a confidant. Now, in this half-lit hallway, she struggled to remind herself that fate's designs were never simple. Earlier that week, Kat had slipped into Eva's suite under the pretext of retrieving the racing helmet and fingerless gloves she needed as evidence in the ongoing Laura Peterson case. The wealthy heiress's mysterious demise had ensnared nearly every prominent townsperson in suspicion, and Kat Ever the sleuth had vowed to piece together the puzzle. When she peeked beneath the bed, however, she wasn't prepared to witness Tom's unexpected conduct. From her hidden vantage, she saw him gently but firmly push away a passionate Eva who tried to seal her ardor with a kiss. The betrayal she feared was absent. Instead, a deeper respect glimmered in his eyes toward boundaries, toward honesty. Her heart fluttered, torn between admiration for his integrity and disappointment that his affections lay elsewhere. Yet the universe loves irony. Unaware of Kat's witness to that moment, Tom continued to regard her with a curious warmth. His laughter, resonant and genuine, had become the highlight of her weeks, enough to unravel her defenses. In their shared coffee runs at Rosalind's cafe, he asked about her case files, her dreams, even the strange symbols painted on old photographs. He probed her thoughts with sincerity, as though her world was a trove of secrets he longed to explore. And in those moments, Kat felt her own walls crumble, shedding layers of caution until all that remained was raw longing. But as dawn broke over the hotel corridor, Kat forced herself to steady her breathing. She wouldn't rush into the unknown out of impulse. After all, expectations could be a double-edged sword. If she vaulted too eagerly into passion, she risked losing the very friendship she cherished. Besides, and this was a thought she dared not speak aloud, Tom's mysterious past included ties to her brother, Martin Richardson, that neither sibling fully understood. In the labyrinth of the Richardson family's history, loyalties were tested, lines blurred, and sins of the past cast long shadows over the present. Meanwhile, Detective Bradley "Smitty" Smith sat in his cramped office at the Harbor Precinct, elbows propped on a cluttered desk, eyes fixed on two photographs pinned side by side. An aging portrait of Detective Marcel Malone shaking hands with Joey Armstrong at the Ocean View Yacht Club, and a mugshot of Joey himself, smirking under harsh, fluorescent lights. Smitty's instincts told him the juxtaposition wasn't coincidence. Malone, a decorated officer known for philanthropy and wealthy friends, rubbing shoulders with a known drug trafficking alliance that spelled corruption at the highest level. The case began innocuously enough, routine complaints of missing valuables from vacation homes dotted along the coast. But Smitty's gut insisted there was more, something deeper, darker. Perhaps the stolen goods funded illicit transactions. Perhaps someone influential orchestrated it. As he traced back membership records for the yacht club, he realized both Malone and Joey shared the same membership number, prefix a telltale sign of association among the exclusive, blue envelope members. His pulse quickened. If he could prove Malone's complicity, the entire facade of a beloved detective would crumble, and the ripple effect would expose untold secrets. Worse yet, Martin Richardson's name surfaced in Malone's encrypted call logs. One voicemail from 3 years prior contained only a single word, "remember," with Malone's clipped voice. The message was so vague that, at the time, Smitty had chalked it up to a misdial. Now, in light of these photographs and the reemergence of evidence from the Laura Peterson murder scene, that lone word rang ominous. What entanglement did Martin share with Malone? And why hadn't Kat ever mentioned it? Back at the Richardson estate, Martin stood before a dusty mirror in the hallway gallery, his reflection ghostly in the dim light. His mind drifted back to the night he dared not recount. A night of sirens, broken vows, and the bitter tang of blood on his lips. He had been a stranger even to himself, eyes glazed as though under a spell, doing things he could never erase. The fleeting glimpse of Malone's face, stern, uncompromising, haunted him. That man had seen too much, and he had collected debts that Martin feared he could never repay. Now, as the detective's name flickered in Smitty's notes, Martin felt the walls closing in. What began as a simple small-town homicide investigation threatened to unearth a secret that might consume him entirely. Across town, Naomi Hawthorne traced her fingers along the rough fabric of her friend June's provisional tent, pitched behind the abandoned carousel in Maple Grove Park. Naomi's own life was one of careful precision, art curator by day, philanthropist by night. She had built her career on restored paintings and whispered endorsements. Yet, nothing had prepared her for the raw desperation that clung to June like morning dew. When June's treasured photograph, the sole visual tether to her missing children, was snatched during a city cleanup sweep, Naomi vowed to make things right. It began as a simple promise: "I'll help you get it back." But beneath that pledge lay a labyrinth of municipal corruption. June insisted the city workers had acted on someone's orders, some shadowy official who wanted the photograph destroyed. The image itself, a sepia-toned family portrait, captured a moment of pure joy, the children laughing by the sea, unaware of the storm gathering on the horizon. What was so dangerous about a photograph? Naomi's gut told her there was far more at stake. When she overheard June mutter of something hidden behind the picture, the curator in Naomi perked up. Artifacts, especially intimate ones, often concealed messages, encoded diary entries scrawled on the frame's reverse, perhaps, or a clue to a location. The temptation to uncover the truth was irresistible. Hence, Naomi and June embarked on a clandestine mission that very morning. June guided Naomi to the impound lot where confiscated belongings lay stacked like forgotten time capsules. There, beneath fetid tarps and rotting cardboard boxes, they hunted for the photograph. Each discovery of discarded trinkets, an old baseball glove here, a tarnished locket there, tightened the knot in Naomi's stomach. She sensed a larger narrative playing out, one that wove together the desperate strands of Martin's past, Smitty's investigation, and Kat's clandestine pursuit of evidence. But for now, she focused on the task at hand, locating that singular image that embodied June's only lifeline. Back at Eva Thomas's gallery opening that evening, the crowd murmured with excitement. Bronze sculptures gleamed under track lighting, and canvases splashed with avant-garde colors lined the walls. Guests sipped champagne, their conversations a soft murmur that harmonized with distant waves lapping against the pier beyond. Tom Navarro, impeccably dressed in midnight blue, moved through the throng, exchanging nods and smiles. He paused in front of Eva's latest paisea haunting portrait of a woman half submerged in water, her lips parted in a silent scream. Tom's brow furrowed as he traced the rippling brushstrokes. Catching his reflection in the glass, he seemed to search for something, perhaps a clue to his own submerged emotions. Eva approached with a graceful flutter of silk. "I'm glad you're here," she said, voice low. "Your insight on boundaries, it inspires me." Tom offered a polite smile, careful not to reveal Kat's surveillance of their earlier encounter. He spoke of the painting's theme, vulnerability versus strength, water as both cradle and crucible. As they spoke, Kat slipped through the back door, notebook tucked beneath her arm. She'd followed Tom here, determined to see if the man who refused Eva's kiss would reveal any cracks around her. But when she caught sight of them, bathed in gallery light, she hesitated. Tom's gaze, warm and earnest, was directed at Eva's art and not toward her. The pang in Kat's chest was familiar. She recorded every detail anyway, the tilt of Tom's head, the subtle shift in his posture, the way Eva's hand lingered near his elbow. Meanwhile, Smitty sat in his car across the street, stalled by lack of parking near the gallery. He flipped open his laptop, connecting to the precinct's secure network. His screen displayed Malone's call records mapped onto a timeline of Joey Armstrong's arrests and releases. The correlation was damning. Each time Malone tagged in favor of Joey, legal charges mysteriously evaporated. Smitty's jaw tightened as he realized he'd stumbled upon a conspiracy that extended beyond petty theft, a network of favors and bribes that kept organized crime in orbit around the precinct. It was bigger than he'd ever imagined. But just as he prepared to file his preliminary report, his phone buzzed with a message. "We found something interesting at the impound lot. Call you soon." The message was from Naomi. Smitty frowned. Why would Naomi Hawthorne contact him? She specialized in artwork, not police cases, unless the photograph she sought intersected with his investigation. A chill snaked down his spine as he recalled Martin's cryptic voicemail. Connections tangled like barbed wire, scratching at memory. He slid his laptop shut and sighed. Tomorrow would bring more questions than answers. In a quiet alcove of the gallery, Kat watched Tom and Eva, her pen poised over scribbled notes. She felt torn. Part of her yearned to confront him, to declare the depth of her feelings that had grown in the shadows of his integrity. Another part recoiled, fearful that honesty would unravel the fragile tapestry of friendship they'd woven. She closed her notebook and slipped away, leaving behind the clink of champagne glasses and hushed appreciations. Outside, the harbor night air was crisp, scented with salt and possibility. Kat paused on the cobblestones, looking up at the starlight. Somewhere, Tom was making decisions she couldn't influence. Smitty was untangling corruption's web. Naomi was on the hunt for a lost image that might unlock secrets. And Martin, haunted by his own shadow, was bracing for the past to break free. Their stories, separate but entwined, converged on a single axis of revelation, and nothing would ever be the same. As the moon rose, each character stood at a threshold, Kat poised between desire and caution, Tom between loyalty and temptation, Smitty between duty and danger, Naomi between compassion and curiosity, and Martin between guilt and redemption. Beyond the gates, the walls held more than brick and mortar. They contained the hidden impulses that drive us all. And in the days to come, those impulses would surge like an unrestrained tide, carrying them toward a reckoning none could predict. The dawn light filtered through the dusty blinds of the Richardson family's old boathouse as Martin stood at the edge of the water, arms folded across his chest. The horizon glowed pale rose, yet inside him roiled a far darker storm. Last night's reverie flashes of Malone's inscrutable gaze, the echo of Smitty's revelations, The press of hidden debts had left him hollow with dread. He inhaled deeply, letting the brine-tinged air fill his lungs, vowing silently that he would no longer let yesterday's sins define tomorrow's choices. His resolve, however, would soon be tested. A single knock on the boathouse door shattered the fragile calm. Turning, he found Kat there, notebook in hand, eyes bright with concern. She carried herself with the quiet determination he remembered from their childhood games, always ready to chase truth wherever it led. "I found something," she said, stepping inside. But first she paused, searching his face. "Are you all right?" He forced a nod. "Just needed air." He gestured toward a battered wooden chair. As she sat, he noticed how the morning light caught the auburn highlights in her hair, how her brow furrowed with unspoken questions. Kat unfolded a photographer-grainy print featuring Smitty and Malone in that clandestine yacht club handshake. "This," she said, tapping the image, "ties your secret to his corruption. But there's more. I tracked the date stamp. It was the same night Laura Peterson died." She looked up sharply. "Malone was there, Martin. And so were you." Martin's heart pounded. He closed his eyes, remembering the slick tile floor of Laura's gallery, the way Malone's voice had cut through the chaos. "You don't remember a thing, do you?" He had brushed the detective off then, but now he understood the weight behind those words. Kat continued, voice low. "Smitty's methodical, but he's no fool. He'll connect the dots soon. You need to decide. Will you confess everything to him, or will you keep running from your past?" He swallowed. "I don't know if I can face that," he admitted. "But you deserve better than this tangled mess." Her eyes softened. "We both do. But if I know you, Martin, you'll fight this because you love her." She didn't need to name Naomi. The tenderness in his expression spoke volumes. Across town, Detective Smitty parked his unmarked cruiser behind the impound lot, heart hammering. Naomi's text had come just as he pieced together the Malone-Joey conspiracy, found something in the photograph case. "Meet me." He approached the locked gate, badge flashing for entry. The midday sun glinted off stacked filing crates, each labeled for discarded art or personal effects. Naomi stood at the far end, clutching a single, worn envelope. She greeted him with a determined nod. "This was tucked behind the frame of June's photo," she said, handing over the envelope. Smitty peeled it open to reveal a single sheet of vellum on which delicate handwriting spelled out an address: Maple Grove Carousel House, basement, 3 a.m. "So someone hid a clue here," Naomi observed. June said the photo contained more than just memories. It was a map. Smitty frowned. "Map to what?" His mind raced. Could this be linked to Joey's smuggling routes? Or Malone's secret stash of collected favors? Before Naomi could answer, his phone buzzed with an incoming call from the precinct. He glanced at the screen. Urgent and answered. "Smitty." A terse voice barked instructions to report immediately. His jaw clenched as he realized Malone had requested his presence at headquarters. The timing was no coincidence. He looked up at Naomi. "I have to go. But I'll follow your lead on the map tonight." She pressed the vellum into his hand. "Be careful. Whoever hid this wants to stay hidden." That evening, Tom Navarro slid into his windowless office at Eva Thomas's gallery, the perfume of oil paint and fresh canvas lingering in the hall. Eva's assistant had left a note: "Private viewing tonight, 8 p.m. Urgent." Tom flipped on the overhead light to reveal an unpublished series of photographs of the seashore at dawn, each shot obscured by a translucent sheet of paper scrawled with cryptic symbols, coordinates, names, and dates. He recognized one date immediately: June 19, the same day Kat spied him and Eva's encounter. Beneath the sea mist motif, in elegant loop script, was a name: Martin Richardson. His chest tightened. Why was Martin's name here, hidden in Eva's art? Taking a steadying breath, Tom dialed Kat's number. It rang twice before she answered, voice wary. "What is it?" "I'm at the gallery," he said, voice low. "Eva's new piece, it's more than art. She's embedding secrets." He relayed the details verbatim. Kat's gasp crackled through the handset. "I'll be right there." Under cover of darkness, Naomi eased her car onto the carriage path leading to the old carousel house at Maple Grove Park. The gates were unlocked, as though someone expected her. She cradled June's photograph against her chest like a shield. Every step toward the boarded-up structure felt like wading deeper into a dream. Inside, the carousel's painted horses loomed silent, their glass eyes reflecting her flashlight's beam. The dust motes danced in the air as she found the trapdoor beneath a loose floorboard. Heart-pounding, she descended into the dank basement, where crates of old carnival paraphernalia lined the walls. A single light bulb hung from the ceiling, swaying gently. At the far end, a rusted filing cabinet beckoned. She approached, kneeling to unlock the bottom drawer, which yielded a leather-bound journal. Its pages crackled as she opened to the first entry, June's hope: hide the image until the truth can be revealed. June's children are not lost, they were hidden here. MD, 2007. Naomi's breath caught. Martin's brother? Or Martin's daughter? She flipped further, spotting a torn photograph glued to the page, a young girl with June's eyes, smiling crookedly. Beneath it, a note scrawled in the same hand as the vellum map: "They took more than their memory. They took their voices. Find them." Her stomach clenched. This was no simple missing persons case, it was a conspiracy to erase an entire family. And Martin Richardson's name was the key. Meanwhile, at the Harbor Precinct, Smitty stepped into Malone's office to find the detective uncharacteristically tense. Malone stood by the window, arms folded. His uniform jacket lay across a chair, as though he'd discarded it in haste. "Detective Smith," Malone said without turning, "we need to talk about the Peterson file. Your theories, they're misguided." Smitty handed over Kat's photograph of the yacht club meeting. "Explain this, Malone," he said evenly. "And why your name appears in a voicemail to Martin Richardson the night she died." Malone's shoulders stiffened. Slowly, he turned, eyes red-rimmed. "I didn't know Martin," he began. "He came to me for help. He was involved in something dangerous. I tried to protect him." "Protect him?" Smitty echoed. "By letting Joey Armstrong walk free? By covering up evidence?" Malone looked away, guilt etched in every line of his face. "You don't understand what I've seen. That night, it wasn't Laura's fault she died." He swallowed hard. She was going to expose something far worse than a murder. Smitty's breath caught. What was she going to expose? Malone closed his eyes, shaking his head. "I can't say. Not yet. But if I protect Martin, maybe he can fix this." He met Smitty's gaze. "Promise me you won't destroy him yet." Smitty's jaw clenched. He had come for corruption, but now found himself entangled in a web of protection and betrayal. He nodded slowly, though every fiber of his being screamed for justice. Late that night, Tom and Kat slipped through the gallery's back door, their footsteps echoing as they crept toward the storage room. Tom clutched the series of translucent photographs. Kat held his flashlight steady. The symbols on the sheets glowed faintly under a UV lamp Tom produced from his pocket, coordinates matching the address on Naomi's vellum map. "This is it," Kat whispered. "All our stories collide here." Tom traced a series of numbers on one sheet: latitude 37.628, longitude 122.385. He looked to Kat, whose eyes flickered with recognition. The old Sanborn Wharf, that abandoned warehouse on the inlet. Together, they slipped into the cool night air, the photographs folded like fragile wings in Tom's jacket. Each carried the weight of Martin's secrets, Smitty's crusade, Naomi's revelations, and Kat's unwavering loyalty. At Sanborn Wharf, moonlight glittered on the water as waves lapped against rotting pilings. The warehouse doors hung askew, whispering of memories long buried. They approached silently, adrenaline coursing through their veins. Inside, crates of broken furniture and rusted machinery lined the walls. In the center, a single wooden table bore the remains of an old projector and scattered images of children playing on that very carousel. One photograph lay face down, its back scrawled with June's handwriting, "Where I hid them." Kat flipped it over. 2 girls and a boy, smiling wide beneath a painted canopy. Tom knelt, heart pounding. "These are June's children." From the shadows, a voice emerged low, weary. "You found it." Martin stepped forward, face hollow. "I thought I buried this forever." Kat rose, anger and compassion warring in her gaze. "You hid them here? All those years, you let June believe they were gone." He bowed his head. "It was the only way to keep them safe from Malone and his cronies. The moment I realized the conspiracy stretched into child trafficking, I knew I had to vanish them until I could dismantle the network." Tom reached out. "But at what cost?" "Look at Janesh suffered every day." Martin's shoulders hunched. "I did what I thought was right." Before anyone could speak, floodlights snapped on, and the glare of law enforcement vehicles swarmed the warehouse doors. Smitty stepped inside alongside uniformed officers, badge held high. Behind him stood Naomi, notebook in hand, and June, her eyes wide with disbelief. Smitty's gaze swept the assembled group. "Martin Richardson, Detective Malone has authorized your arrest for conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and child endangerment." June stepped forward, voice trembling. "Wait, me children are here." "You don't understand." Smitty paused, looking from the children's photographs to Martin's remorseful face. He reached into his jacket and produced the vellum map. "Tell me everything," he said softly. "I need to know why you hid them and who ordered it." As Martin began to speak, recounting the labyrinth of threats and betrayals that had forced his hand, the night air grew heavy with revelation. Each confession chipped away at decades of silence, each admission a spark igniting the darkness. In that moment, they stood together, Kat and Tom, who had followed the hidden trail of passion and truth, Smitty and Malone, bound by duty and guilt, Naomi and June, whose fierce love transcended loss, and Martin, seeking redemption at last. The warehouse walls, once silent witnesses to secrecy, now reverberated with the truth, set free at last. And though the road ahead would demand atonement and healing, they finally understood that no secret, however deeply buried, could withstand the light of collective courage and compassion.